Welcome back, you lovely people. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, chainlink. We're going to figure out if today's gains are here to stay or whether it's a dead cat bounce. And we'll take a look at some of the news around Bitcoin today. But I want to start on this chart or this picture from TradingView. And it simply shows what I've been trying to tell you, which is what we absolutely must avoid, which is when we have sell-offs, and we're going to have plenty of sell-offs this year, that we keep our mind straight, we stay focused, and we don't sell. Of course, some people will have done that, and they'll be waking up today and they'll be seeing that they've made a mistake. So you certainly shouldn't be doing this. I have now trained myself to understand that we're going to have many sell-offs and not to panic and not to sell. I still struggle with the top one. If I see something that I really like and it's going up loads, I can still panic and feel like I need to buy at that point. That's called FOMO. But overall, we want to make sure that we are doing the opposite of this. So you want to be buying during dips and selling when it's gone up a lot. Or even better, in my opinion, is just to be buying as soon as possible at this point in the cycle, and then watching it unfold and reclining back and drinking a beer or a wine and enjoying the journey. Let's have a look at what's going on today. So Bitcoin is up just under 6%. Let me tidy this up a little bit. Oops. And yesterday, when we left it, I said we have a 50% chance of coming up out of our box and a 50% chance of heading down. And I think I got a perfect score because actually overnight we spiked down into our trend line, which was, we went down just under $29,000. And since then we have bounced up. So you can see our box and our trend line have worked really, really well for us. So things are looking bullish for sure. What happens next? Well, there is something called a dead cat bounce, which is when something bounces off your support line and then actually falls back through the support line. And if that happens, then we'd be looking down into our line here, which would be around $25,000. And that would be a decrease of 42%. I think that's the absolute bottom that we could go. And it's not likely at this point, but maybe there's a 10% possibility that that happens. So do prepare yourself for that. Prepare yourself for all possibilities. So other than that, we may come up to our trend line here. If that happens, most likely we would come back somewhere around here and then break through. That is the most likely scenario. And of course, there is a scenario where we just shoot to the moon. I want to have a look at Ethereum and chainlink as well. Now, on Ethereum, you can see that our line that we were following was broken. We peaked into our all-time high, and that's this red resistance level here at 1,420. And we didn't follow through. We've come back down and we've tested this trend line we've had in since the end of December. So even though it felt like a sharp correction, 27.5%, it was absolutely beautiful in relation to our chart and what we had set up and prepared. And now we are advancing a lot. We're up nearly 12% on the day, $1,244. And imagine if you're in Ethereum and you did this yesterday and you panicked down here. And now what do? Now you really feel like you're missing out. What happens next with Ethereum? We have the same options. We come down into here or here. We head up here, 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 or we shoot straight up. And the same likelihood on Ethereum. I doubt that we're going back into 975, but it's possible. Most likely we'll head back up to our all-time high, consolidate a little bit, and then shoot through. The big gainer of the day is Chainlink. And I put out a message on my Instagram stories this morning. I think Chainlink was up about 5% this morning. And I put out a story saying that I think if you buy Chainlink now, you'll double your money by the end of February. I did similar in December, and it worked out. And I put that out this morning. And since then, Chainlink has gone ballistic. So we're up 21% on the day, which is obviously fantastic to see. Again, our lines have worked really well. We came into our level here that we were watching around $17 or so last night. I know some people had orders in here, so you got very, very cheap Chainlink if you did that. And now we have bounced substantially. I would expect us to take out the all-time high of just under $24 quickly. And then if my prediction is going to come true, I was recommending people buy it about $19. So we're looking at somewhere around $38 over the next 4 to 6 weeks. People were worried a lot about regulation, comments from Janet Yellen, various bits and pieces in the news, and everybody gets very afraid and is really looking for a reason to sell their Bitcoin and their crypto. You really have to learn to separate out noise and signal. Noise is all of that stuff, all of the stuff which, if you zoom out, is not going to make a difference to our trajectory. There's been talk about regulation for an eternity. There was talk yesterday that there'd been a double spend on Bitcoin, which means the code wasn't working properly. It was all completely false, and the situation that they're talking about worked perfectly. You do your own research on that, but separating out the noise and the signal. All of the noise has caused us that sell-off. Hopefully you didn't get caught up in it, because the signal is things like this. BlackRock, who are the biggest investment management company in the world, have just filed documents saying that they're going to be adding Bitcoin to their funds. This is going to be hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars eventually flowing into Bitcoin and potentially other cryptocurrencies. BlackRock are also very much in bed with the US government. So if you're really worried about the US government clamping down on crypto, this is how to separate the noise from the signal. The signal here is their investment advisors are actually now going in to buy Bitcoin. And you have companies like MicroStrategy, who, whenever they get any cash, they've actually raised a lot of debt. They're going in and they're buying all of the Bitcoin they can possibly buy with that, whilst it's still cheap. And when I say still cheap, well, certainly $30,000 Bitcoin is extremely cheap. And I believe anything under $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 is extremely cheap. Our next target, if we do 150% off of our bottom here of $29,000, something like $72,500. And I expect that we'll get there within the next couple of months. And again, reading past the headlines, the comments from Janet Yellen saying they're going to crack down on cryptocurrency, if you actually read the quotes or listen to her speech, and she also said that she believes cryptocurrencies have the potential to improve the efficiency of the financial system. But of course, the headlines that you will read in news agencies that have legacy ties to the old financial system, the fear-mongering, the clickbait, don't take it to heart. Look through it, have your strategy set, look at the signal. I'm pointing out signals to you, and then make sure that even through this, you're enjoying it. one of the things which I'm trying to communicate to people is that this is all part of the journey. And if it's stressing you out or making you anxious, you either need to not be involved, or preferably you will train yourself to understand how this market works and prepare yourself mentally to ride it out. This is why buying as soon as you can and then watching and learning, for me, is the best strategy. Have an incredible weekend, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.